Taxi, you don't know if it's staged. You don't know if it's shot in a day. I don't think it's shot. అది
ఇన్ ఏ డే అయితే అయి ఉండదు.
ఇన్ ఏ డే అయి ఉండదు. అది ఎక్కడ దాని గురించి ఏం దొరకలేదు.
మేకింగ్
నోట్స్ అబౌట్ ద ప్రొడక్షన్ ఏం లేవు అక్కడ.
సో అట్లా మా మేనకోడల్నే పెడదామని ఈరోజు ఈవినింగ్ తన్ని షాపింగ్ తీసుకెళ్ళాలి నేను.
There are a couple of scenes in A Love Letter to Cinema where the protagonist Shashi discusses with his friends the cinema of Jafar Panahi, specifically the 2015 drama Taxi Tehran. Just for context, Taxi Tehran was Panahi's third film after getting arrested in 2010 by authorities in Iran for his political voice and dissidence. He was subsequently banned from filmmaking, traveling, and giving interviews for a period of 20 years. It is this confinement and restriction that propels Panahi to fundamentally alter the way he presents images to his audience. And this visual language in turn elevates the context within which he functions. In Taxi, the setup is simple enough. Panahi drives around the streets of Tehran in a car, and the film chronicles conversations that occur inside it through the course of a day. The car is rigged with cameras that are seemingly hidden, their narrative purpose stemming from the fact that Panahi is not allowed to make a film. But within the world of the film, the purpose of these cameras is left ambiguous. Some of the characters in the film acknowledge the camera, a particular gentleman thinks that it may be an anti-theft device, and Panahi himself never answers any questions if he is making a film or not, obviously. Further, Panahi draws attention to the visual frame by rotating the camera at various junctures and chooses what to shoot. This allows Panahi to create his own relationship with the viewer, letting them in on a secret that is outside the purview of the characters of the film. This is a mastery of dramatic irony, as we know what the cameras are for and the characters are only left speculating. But Panahi does not play this dramatic irony for tension or for conflict, but rather to introduce an ambiguity that is central to the viewing of Taxi Tehran, whether this is all an unstaged reality or a complete fiction.
فیلم برداریه دیگه آقا پناهی. آقا و خانومه به نظرم میشه از این ور بریم. خیلی ممنون. میریم شهرام. متشکرم. این آقا خانومه بازیگر بودن دیگه. میدونی واسه عکوسی شناختم این آقا دیالوگ آخرش خیلی شبیه سکانس قهوه خونه طلای سرخ بود مگه نه؟ شما کجا؟ تاکسی کجا آقا فناهی؟
خب این هم یه شغله دیگه.
بله شغله، ولی هر کسی را بهر کاری ساختن.
Although it is treated like it was clandestinely shot, some digging on the interwebs reveals how the entirety of Taxi was actually totally fictionalized, going to the extent of even removing the roof of the car for lighting and then adding it back in post-production. This sheds a new light on the way that Panahi operates. If the characters inside Taxi never once acknowledged the camera or expressed directly to Panahi their doubts on the nature of their roles and whether this is all a film, it would perhaps play out like a documentary. But because they do, and by allowing them to do so, Panahi brilliantly inserts the conceit of the conflict between reality and fiction and drives the viewer towards it. Hiding behind this conflict in stealth mode, Panahi beautifully weaves out a larger story on surveillance and censorship. How do you then borrow stylistically from a film that is so deep-rooted in political voice and not be trapped as a poor recreation? The challenge thus for Rohit and Shashi, the filmmakers of A Love Letter to Cinema, was always going to be to identify the weight and the context of such an experiment. It is perhaps difficult to strip away a particular core or thread for films like A Love Letter that are a slice of life. The conversations seem fragmented, meandering, lifelike almost, and appear to be about nothing in particular but also about so many things. Yet, every character and every narrative choice by Rohit and Shashi is contributing to unify Love Letter's central aim. Sashi's invitation to the cowboy for a screening of his film, which evidently the cowboy was a part of, is the beginning of the unraveling of Sashi's world as an independent filmmaker. Sashi's hangout with his friends gives us a small glimpse into their financial standing, and then with Amar, the documentary filmmaker, the discussion pivots to how their economic status impacts their approach to filmmaking. Sandhya, Rohit, Aditi all play a part in giving us a glimpse of where their filmmaking finds a space within the larger commercial industry, both in terms of sensibility and ethics. Finally, Arif becomes the voice through which Love Letter reveals the angst and the anxieties of many young filmmakers and their conflicts with the economics of filmmaking. It is thus this rant of a low-budget independent filmmaker fighting for his space that becomes the central ambit within which a love letter functions. But there is perhaps one defining sequence in the film which reveals the gamble that Love Letter is trying to play with.
అయితే ఇందాక పెట్టినట్టు పెట్టి ఇటు పెట్టుకో కానీ సో దట్
అది ఇందులో వస్తుందేమో అని
లేదు దట్స్ అ ప్రాప్ వీఆర్ యూజింగ్ విత్ ఎవ్రీ క్యారెక్టర్ ఇంకా ఓపెన్ గా దొరికిపోయినది ఓపెన్ గా దొరుకుతాం మళ్ళీ
అదే అదే
అవి హైడ్ చేయలేక చచ్చిపోతున్నాం రిగ్ చేయలేము మన కారు కాదు
అదే నాకు కొన్ని ఫిల్మ్స్ గుర్తొచ్చినాయి ఇట్లా చేసినవి ఏమున్నాయా అని
ఇట్లా మనకి తక్కువే.
Restrained by economics, Rohit and Sashi make a narrative choice where the camera on the dashboard and the sound equipment become both a recording device and a prop within the film's world. Of course, Sashi is not afraid to reveal this process of filmmaking because he has no practical way of hiding it. And much like Panahi, by drawing attention to the world of the film, by turning the camera around on himself, Sashi builds a direct relationship with the viewer, taking them along in his process of making a film. But there is no dramatic irony at play here. The characters are all aware that they are part of an experiment. What is at play here though is a secret. The invisible cameraman. A trained eye must have noticed another camera inside the car that is not part of the world of the film. A camera that shows us this entire world, including the camera that Sashi places on the dashboard. The characters, unlike Taxi Tehran, never acknowledge this presence or even discuss it, including the all-revealing and honest Sashi. This begs the question, was Sashi acting all along or was he not? Is Johnny really a dealer? Is Aditi really his niece? Was all of this staged? I'll leave that to you, but at the end of the day, Love Letter takes inspiration from Taxi in more than one ways. The message seems to be clear. Fuck everything else. Just go make a film.